My name is Nathan Eaton. I'm the Executive Director at NGIS. Sustainability has become a core strategic pillar for global manufacturers. Organisations are looking to build trust with their customers and their stakeholders by identifying where and how they're actually sourcing the materials that they're using for production. A report from The Economist has identified that consumers are 85% more likely to buy a product from an organisation with a reputation for sustainability than from a neutral company if the prices are the same. And these global manufacturers are making significant and specific commitments to address sustainability in their supply chains. Forest Trends have identified that more than half of all the companies exposed to forest risk actually made a public commitment to address deforestation. And sustainability is not just deforestation. Deforestation is hugely important for commodities such as palm oil, but sustainability extends to the use of surface water, use of water by manufacturing organisations by irrigated crops, and the actual impact that has on water availability in different areas, and water security. And it also extends to exploitation. So looking at child labour and forced labour in supply chain. All of these things are packaged into a sustainable footprint of how organisations are currently working globally. So we have a number of organisations really looking to get ahead of the curve through sustainability disclosure. And then we also have governments and commissions that are moving sustainability into regulation and legislation. There's some great examples, one being the European Commission that's implemented the European Climate Law as part of the European Green Deal. And that's aimed at climate neutrality by 2050 to enforce emission reductions and sustainable practices. And the pillars of this climate law are really around transparency and accountability. In New Zealand, there's the He Waka Eke Noa initiative, which is a climate action partnership where 100% of all New Zealand farms will need to know their total annual net farm greenhouse gas emissions by the end of 2022. So this isn't a 2050 initiative, this is a very near-term initiative. A system for farm-level accounting and reporting of agricultural emissions is set to be in place for use in all farms in New Zealand as part of this initiative by January 1st, 2025. So what then is the challenge for consumer packaged good companies as they address their commitments to sustainability? And really, we're at a point in time where we have fantastic cloud-based technology to scale out monitoring. And then we also have availability of more and more satellite information, of observations about our Earth, both from climate change and also footprint, to really be able to put both of those core components together to truly understand the impact on environment. So it allows us to go from footprint all the way through to the manufacturing and producing of products to understand the full impact of supply chains. So the challenge then is to take this opportunity for organisations. It's to take cloud technology at scale, combine it with mountains and mountains of satellite imagery to truly understand where we sit and where we are with sustainability. And this starts from traceability to footprint. When we're looking at metrics and trying to understand the level of deforestation in supply chains, we've got to trace activities all the way back to where are those commodities being sourced from. Footprints are then the fundamental building block of how we can actually create metrics and insights around sustainability. And it doesn't just stop there with understanding the footprint for organisations and their specific activities. For many large organisations, McKinsey have actually released a report that suggests 90% or more of a company's total environmental impact actually comes from their broader supply chain. So it's understanding their footprint, but then traceability the entire way through their global supply chain. So it's traceability from concession and farm through to the mills that actually crush the fresh fruit, right down to refineries, then up to facilities and factories that are all involved in the supply chain of how we actually take raw materials and commodities and then deliver them to the end consumer. And that really is the opportunity for organisations. And this is a geospatial challenge. This is about what is happening and where. And so the opportunity is then to leverage a technology-enabled, data-driven approach, using all of this information and using fantastic capability with cloud providers to really provide that full traceability and transparency for global supply chains. And this is where we at NGIS are really passionate and really lucky to be working with Google and Planet to use the Google Cloud platform to implement data-driven solutions to sustainable sourcing. And this is an innovative approach, but it's actually using great new capability that is available for these organisations now to really leverage this content and technology at scale. And so Google's mission has always been to organise the world's information and to make it universally accessible and useful. And Google is now turning that into how do we actually take that same approach for global Earth observation data? All of the information that is coming from NASA, from the European Space Agency and other satellite programs, how do we put this in the hands of organisations so they can actually turn that information into the metrics and insights that allow them to really shift the needle for their sustainability commitments? And this is a geospatial challenge. So it is very much what is happening where. And Google provides next generation geospatial capability. And when we're talking about geospatial and where we're heading, it's around cloud geospatial. It's around having the capability to leverage this technology at scale and then to distill this mountain of information into the actual insights that are required. And Google has industry-leading, amazing technology to really take this information and allow us to create the solutions that we want to build with clients around sustainability, to really, once again, shift the needle on where organisations sit now and then tracking and monitoring their progress towards their sustainability commitments. And the core pillar in terms of Google technology for us is really Google Earth Engine, an amazing product that Google has put together to really make satellite information available and to provide an end-to-end platform to go from pixels all the way through to the insights that are required for sustainability, and then to allow ongoing monitoring and reporting. Sustainability is not a point in time. It's about an evolving process to really have the capability to monitor progress. And this includes the ability to incorporate new science. As new science is released from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, how do we incorporate that into our understanding of our footprint and environmental impact? And when you combine that capability from Google and the Google Cloud platform in terms of this technology, and we then put that together with Planet's mission. So Planet, a highly innovative satellite imagery company that are looking to image the whole world every day, making the change visible, accessible, and actionable. And we combine that content with Google's technology. That's the recipe for how we actually take a data-driven approach to sustainability. It's how we truly understand our footprint and our impact, and how we monitor how we're actually addressing sustainability in global supply chains. And really, this approach is being transformed by Google by taking a classic Earth observation workflow, where much of the time from organisations would typically be spent on hygiene, accessing the data, managing the data, curating the data. And Google is taking that and managing that for organisations, and then allowing us to focus on the data science. And that's really where the value is for sustainability. It's taking all of that information, but actually producing that to metrics that make sense. So metrics regarding deforestation, water usage, child labour, forced labour, putting that all together so there's a really solid understanding and traceability across the full supply chain for sustainability. And fantastic initiatives such as the NICFI program, where the Norwegian government has partnered with Planet to actually make this mountain of information and satellite imagery available at scale to address deforestation in the tropics and in areas where there are significant challenges of actually cloud cover and getting data in between the cloud cover to truly see what's going on the ground. And this is where Planet is just so valuable for organisations with the level of content they provide. And so we're partnering with Planet, partnering with Google to then produce really significant innovative solutions such as our TraceMark initiative, where we're implementing a number of key pillars to help organisations with their data-driven approach to sustainability, starting from assessing geographic sourcing risk. So where are the volumes being sourced from for organisations? Which province, which district? And once you understand those sourcing patterns, what's the inherent risk in those areas for deforestation, for other sustainability practices? And then mapping and auditing all of the suppliers to actually provide the full traceability from footprint all the way through to the actual manufacturing of products. And all of those really complex linkages, putting that all together in a geospatial driven way that allows you to have full transparency across your supply chain. And then taking all of this data, but really producing and quantifying sustainability scores and metrics. So whether it's raw hectares of deforestation or whether it's actually relative sustainability scores for suppliers, and putting that information in the hands of the procurement team and all of the people that need that information to be able to make decisions around improving sustainability practices for organisations. And then the journey doesn't stop there. That's a point in time, and key challenge then in the use of Google Cloud is to then provide monitoring capabilities. How do we then monitor these global supply chains? We actually have benchmarks, we understand current state, but how do we actually monitor the progress towards these commitments to sustainability? And by monitoring that process, it's then about engaging with the broader supply chain, engaging with stakeholders to actually address sustainability. So using different adaptation techniques to reduce and remove sustainability and unsustainable processes from supply chains. And really what we're doing then is we're delivering supply chain traceability and transparency for the sustainable sourcing of global commodities using the Google Cloud Geo. We at NGIS feel really fortunate to be able to partner with Google Cloud and Planet to implement the TraceMark initiative to really innovate with organisations looking to take a data-driven approach to solving sustainability in their supply chains. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate the opportunity to share our thoughts around sustainable sourcing of global commodities.